Hello, and welcome to my playground. This is the Mad Chemist Church, or Church McGurch, depending on where you know me from, and welcome to Madman Review. Today we're going to be looking at Tinkertown. You know, I always adjust the audio when I'm playing, and it never seems to be, like when I record, it never seems to be just way too loud. So you can see it's cartoony-ish game, decent looking. It's also a multiplayer where you can create and have different characters to go into different, either the same world or different worlds. I am typically a single player guy. You can also have multiple worlds. So you can either have your standard worlds use single player, or you can always open your world up to multiplayer. So you can have multiple worlds, some for single player, some for multiplayer. I've always been a single player kind of guy. I like to play some games multiplayer with friends, but I prefer single player games. I've always played single player games most of my life. So usually when I go into a game, I'm going in single player. So you can see this is kind of a top-down style game. This was really hard for me to find where I should put my camera. Because right where my camera is, as you can see, I'm blocking essentially the quick shortcut for it to tell you how to open your map, which is M, your inventory, which is tab. Well, if you're on PC, if you're playing this on PC, or if you're playing this with keyboard, I don't know if you can actually play this with controller. And J for journal. You can't see that because it's blocked by me up here in the top right hand corner. But I really couldn't find anywhere else to put it, because you think, oh, maybe down here in the left hand corner. Yeah, until I opened up my inventory and realized I was down here in this left hand corner. That's when I realized that I was blocking all of my equipment down here. And you couldn't see anything, so it'd be kind of hard to be like, hey, look at my equipment with me right here. Oh, there's the rooster telling me it's morning. So this is Tinkertown. I believe there's another game out there called Tinkerland, which might actually be a cousin, brother, sister to this game. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't looked it up. And this game has actually not been updated in quite some time. I think it's been a year or so. So what you see is kind of what you get. So you see, this is my home. I've got a bunch of different crafting tables, including a refrigerator, which I thought was just to store food. Apparently it's where I go to make ice items. Alchemy table, a furnace, a bed, which is essentially your spawn point or your teleport point. And then just your different kind of crafting tables. Obviously, as you can see, they all craft something different. And then they all craft upgrades. And then kind of like Minecraft, you can make these mine carts, which you can have you can put a bunch of items in, make it, and then just send it away. Because this is it. This is all the inventory space you get. Your 1 through 0, and then these 3 spots. So if you run out of inventory, you're out of inventory. The other thing about this game is that this game does give you unique things. Like you can kind of see, I have this armor here that obviously is draconian plate, but then I have a dragon scale shield. And obviously if I go over here, you see this nice draconian shield. I can't seem to find this diagram when I'm farming in the dungeon, so I can't get the shield, but I've already beat the game. You can kind of tell you, it tells me how much better I'd get for armor. +1 dexterity, +1 strength, +1 intelligence for this. So I haven't found that diagram. So I haven't made the shield, so my shield doesn't match. You also say, that's not like that. And that's something I randomly found. I usually play strength-based characters. Obviously, what does this do? It gives me 15 strength. If I go to what would technically be considered the best strength-based helmet in the game, that you can craft. This only gives me 7 strength, which would be -8, so why would I want to do that? Why would I want to go down 8 strength, since I'm using a strength weapon? I have a bow, which is technically a dex weapon, and as you can see, my dex isn't that great. But it's just there in case I need to do range damage. Of course, a normal pickaxe, an axe. This here is a Gerplin hook. So I can Gerplin hook around. This, you can make teleport potions, but this is basically an item you eventually get that just allows you to teleport for free, and it only costs mana. And obviously a torch. A sword. And obviously your crates, which you can carry all different kinds of items. All different kinds of things. You have your fishing poles for water and for lava, a shovel. This is something you get kind of near the end of the game, which kind of does everything. And just show like different cooked foods. You can get different kinds of foods, fish. Another thing they added, miscellaneous potions. Here's the teleporting potions. Monster drops. One of the things they added, which you can see, that doesn't really look like that right there. Let's go to an item that doesn't have it. That really doesn't look like that right there. That's because we have cosmetics. I have a dragon costume. Makes me look like Bowser. But, you know, I'm not going to say anything about it. But as in one of the dungeons, you can basically go through and repeat it, because if you leave a dungeon and you come back, it resets, so you can go back and get all the loot again and again and again and again. So essentially, you can find these two-piece, basically cosmetic things where you can look like a chicken, a sombrero, a vampire, a werewolf, a nomad, a fallen, basically a ghost, and a ghost. I don't know. It's got a little halo, so I guess like an angel, a pirate. You know, you can find Meat Boy. There's nighttime, and then you can get like the matching arachnia that kind of looks like something. You know. There's a penguin. You get a rubber ring, which is, you know, a little duck ring. A space hunter outfit, if you know, you know. Necromancer, Jack, kinda, you know. Yeah, there's the spooky ghost. You can look like a spooky ghost. Jack-o'-lantern, Meat Boy. You get a demon mask, a fox mask, and then for beating the game, you get the Elder Dragon cosmetic, which is basically that right there, and that right there. But enough about my horrible design choices. I got a mailbox that does nothing. But I did all of this. I built all of this. This is one of those survival sandbox games where you go around and you collect the resources, you collect whatever, and you build it yourself. As I've always said, I'm not a builder. I don't do the buildy thingy. So what I do is very basic, very simple, and gets me through what I need. Now in this, you find these random people, Townians, I believe they're called, and essentially they'll have like a requirement. So if I go to my journal, it'll tell you like the first quest they did. Is it soul trinkets? No. Housing upgrades. Let's just go to this guy. A hungry craftsman. Basically, first quest tells you what you unlocks, gives you a copper axe plus the ability to craft a rack with copper axes. So you do this completion. He gives you a soul piece. You take his soul trinket and you go here, and then it tells you like he wants this, and he wants this. Which then shows you the map. Nope. Not there. So if you leave the door open, they'll wander around, which kind of then makes them hard to find, because you can always walk up to them and hit Let's Craft, and then you can see all the nice fun things that they can craft. Dinosaur fossil, arcane stabilizer, sandworm monument, snow fox monument, slime monument. There's different little things for decorating, keys for dungeons, stuff he wants in his thing. All kind of like mostly. Good thing is when I log out and log back in, it'll put him basically in here because this is his respawn point. So if I come over here, you can see wanted me to come in, wanted me to do this, this, and this. I put all this all down, clicked on that, and it tells me it's good. It tells me, well done, my house is blah blah blah. See, I've got all this. Every time I've put essentially an upgrade in here, every time you put, like, you finish a quest and you put an item in there, it upgrades them, and they get like the ability to craft an item. And what they'll do is they'll craft it at a reduced resource cost. You'll still need this, the diagram, but it'll cost you like 2 less, 1 less bar, 1 less scale, 1 less, piece of wood to craft all these things. And then you don't have to actually go to the individual workbench, because to craft a very specific thing, you have to go to that specific workbench. So if they know everything because they gave them the upgrade, you don't have to go over here, because it's like, this is the only place you can make the bone, or you can make the coffin, this is the only place where you can do this, you can build this, or you can build that, or all these decorating, or this gear, or whatever, statue. It's the only place. This is the only place you can build this. So there's multiple of these people, and each one has a different kind of quest line, as you can see. I don't know why. I have completed everything that they've asked, and you can usually tell because it gives you this congratulations thing, which is essentially a, hey, you've completely upgraded my base, or my house. Congratulations, 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 congratulations. This is my farm. So you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different kinds of different crops you can grow. You see the farmer. Of course, right next to the farm. There's the red berries, the blueberries. Here's the Fletcher. This is another thing I kind of did. I got these through beating a boss, and I constantly was spamming these bosses trying to get items from them. So I got like 5 of them, and I just kind of did this little shrine decoration thing. Just messing around. Just bored. Just kind of like, I wanted to keep playing this game, but here's the lumberjack. But I ran out of content, so I'm kind of stuck now. See, here's the miner. He's also a skeleton. The alchemist. He's like a goblin. The armor, minotaur, and a mummy who is a wizard. And then there's, I think, 5 basic trees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 basic trees. Each one you get like olives, peaches, crystal fruits, plums, and dragon fruit. And then this is also another thing I kind of did. I just kind of made it fancy, just a nice little design. Because eventually when you beat a boss, you unlock their monument. And what you can do is you can take that monument, build it, and then instead of you having to go through the dungeon again to fight the boss, you just click on this, boom, you're right there fighting the boss, because every boss drops those diagrams, and the only way to get the diagrams is to fight the boss over and over again until you get every one, because they drop like 1 or 2 of them, and they're completely random. And there's a sword, there's a bow, there's a dagger, there's this, there's that, there's all the gear, the shield, all kinds of stuff. So this just makes it easier, where you beat the boss, you teleport home, you drop your stuff off, you hit the boss again, da 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 da. And then this is the final dungeon, which is essentially all the bosses. Hit them. They're harder. You hit them all in a row. You don't have time to prepare in between. Stuff like that. You also do eventually get a teleporter. So if you're not using the potions to take you back to your bed, you can use that to bring you back. But you can also use these teleporters, which aren't found. You have to craft them. So I crafted these, and I put each one by a dungeon because you need to go back to the dungeons to farm. So you can also see Forest Dungeon, it's too close, I just walked to it. Forest Volcano, it's another kind of dungeon that gets you an item, but you really don't need to go back into the volcanoes. You really don't need to go back into them a second more than once. You get what you need and then you leave. You can also see these other things on this map, which kind of look like pre-generated structures, which are just fun little like points of interest that you can go explore, farm a little bit. But once you kind of get what you get, there's nothing left to them. So there's no real point in coming back. The dungeons are pretty much the only thing worth farming, because every time you exit and come back, they're back. Everything's fully restocked. Some items have changed, some items are back, some items are not there. There's other items. There's just a chance what appears in that chest. So monsters will spawn at night. So if you go and you kill a bunch of monsters, you just wait a full day cycle and you'll come back and all of them will be back. The only thing that doesn't seem to respawn is materials. I'm gonna fall in the water. Basically, you get stunned. It takes like 1 hit point. Get some dirt. I really don't need the dirt. So just trash it. The only thing that doesn't seem to respawn is the resources. So if you go around and you gather the resources, you've gathered all the resources, the only way to get more resources is to go into dungeons. And because those seem to be the only ones that respawn resource-wise. And mines. Mines are the only ones. So if you look at the map, there's also these mines. That also seems to be the only other place that resources seem to respawn. And you need a ton of coal. That's the other bad thing. It's like you need so much coal. So you're just farming wood to make coal. You're out here looking for coal. You see there's copper there. And each area has its own unique set of resources. That was copper, that's iron. Yep, coal, iron. Bushes, they just give you like fiber and wood. These berry bushes will get you cold berries that give you kind of like a cold buff. So if you go into the fire area, I'm dying of flame. But my gear, as you can see, I have frost protection and fire protection, so I can go into both the cold area and the hot area without taking damage. So we'll do quick. There's the red berries. Food essentially heals you and gives you buffs. Potions will heal you, give you buffs, kind of, So you've seen the forest. Another area, kind of like the second kind of area you go to, is the desert, where you're going to see there's cactus, rocks, there's some turtles, antlion, which isn't really much of look like much of an antlion. As you saw, I teleported to a dungeon. We have mummies, kind of Egyptian stuff, urns, skeletons you can break. Break those for cactus. Got wheat here. You just find this, you grab it, and you take it back. Build it yourself. It doesn't require water, so you're just kind of like, you can put it wherever. This is one of the volcanoes. Yeah, one of the volcanoes. And you're like, oh, how do I get over there? Well, that's where this nice hook shot comes in. You eventually will get the hook shot. You'll go over, get that. There's these trees, which these are palm trees, which will give you palm wood, palm saplings, so you can replant the sapling to get more palm wood. And if you look at them, eventually you'll see ones that will have these little brown bulbs hanging from there. And that means you're guaranteed to get coconuts. Otherwise, if you were to just say, let's say, oh, you need stuff. If you were to just say harvest a random one like this, there's a very small chance you'll get some coconuts. But if there's 2 coconuts hanging here, you're guaranteed to get coconuts. Gold, silver, that's the area. This area's turtles for turtle shells to make a turtle shield. There's the sand pits that just slow you down. They're just more annoying than anything. These bugs will also give you chitin. You see, I haven't 100% explored the map, but there's really no need, as I've found the vast majority of the points of interest. And the vast majority of the points of interest don't really have anything in them that's special. At night, enemies do change in different areas. So if you can't, like, it's like, oh, I need scorpions because of their venom, you'd have to wait till nighttime, go to the desert, and then voila. There is a, and like, yeah, skeletons will start spawning in the desert as well at night. And there's also sandworms, but they're only in certain areas of the desert. So you kind of have to just wander around until you get a sandworm to spawn. There is another region. It's unfortunately completely empty, minus like a handful of small little islands. And it's the area around here. This entire area around here. And it's just called the Endless Ocean. So there's literally nothing to it. I don't need any of this stuff, so I'm just gonna get rid of it. So that's the desert in a nutshell. Said, this is about 60 mana, teleports you to your bed. What's nice is once you place something in here, all you gotta do is press Q, and it'll auto put items in that match. So I can just walk up, press Q. Unfortunately, it doesn't do it for like all of it at once. You have to hit it multiple times to do multiple items. So if there's like 5 things in there, you just gotta spam Q. There's also a sort. I forget what button it is, but there's also a sort button for, unfortunately, only your inventory. There's no sort for this, so this is all just me. Just throwing shit in there. And I do have a little bit of OCD about things. I gotta have things in order of like when I acquired them or like what tier they are. I forgot, these are hazelnut bushes. So you'd hit this and you'd get hazelnuts to cook. So we have brown mushrooms, chili peppers, pumpkins, carrots, potatoes, wheat, sugarcane, which you turn into sugar obviously, corn, they call it like corn pop, and then mushrooms. You don't really eat these, you just turn them into leather, because you don't really kill animals to get leather, you just harvest those mushrooms and turn them into leather. So that was the desert biome. So the next biome you would go to is the ice tundra biome, or just the tundra biome. And the music changes. You find the ice berries. You can harvest these for snowballs, rocks, wood, ice mine. You'd get the frost pine trees, the glacial shards from these. You can go into the mine. So the nice thing about the mine is, when you go into the mine, if you kill enough of a very specific enemy called a skeleton, I believe it's like a skeletal miner. Yeah, skeleton. So if I kill these skeletal miners, they have a low chance of dropping these purple ones here, crystal. And then there's like these green ones that are orichalcum. So the mines are basically just respawnable dungeons that give you a specific resource. So let's walk over. to this, which I have to teleport right here because there's the dungeon. And then these hot springs in case you don't have the heat. If you don't have the cold buff, you can get in here, and it gives you a temporary cold buff. There is a jump mechanic in this game. You know, obviously the shovels for like shoveling and picking stuff up. Like this. Snow. You can pick up snow. Here's the orichalcum. This is the green. These just giant snowballs. Here's the crystal. Purple. But there's the crystal tree. You just harvest that, you get a seed. But what you can do is you can go into these mines. Like I went into the lava mine right here, which is right next to the desert mine. And if you kill those miner skeletons, they give you... So, as you can notice, I have a meteorite axe. There's no draconian axe. Meteorite axe. I can't craft that. I can't. But what I can do is I can go kill those miners skeletons, and they have a rare chance of dropping a pickaxe. So I got a draconian meteorite pickaxe, which does far more damage and is way faster than the normal one. So as you can see, roughly 1.89, 2.53. Has 11 to 12. This is 10 to 11, so it's a decent upgrade. Whereas you can see the axe kind of swings. Look at the pickaxe. Boom, boom. So, and that's just what I'm saying. I'm not comparing the pickaxe to the axe. I'm just showing the normal meteorite axe would be the exact same as this in speed and damage. But as you can see, this draconian one, which I got from one of the draconian skeleton miners, you can see it's a better upgrade than what I could build. And I didn't have to go into a dungeon to find it. So let's go into the dungeon. Each dungeon is unique. Each dungeon repeats itself. This is one of the longer dungeons. I just wanted to go into this one because this is the one you always find this stuff, which you get items out of. And then these items reset and respawn, and you leave and come back. And sometimes they'll change, sometimes they won't. I wanted to go in this one because this is the one that basically gives you the costumes. Oh no, it's a bat. Oh no, it's a vampire. Show you guys some combat. So they drop stuff like, I'll keep that. They're a Kelkin bar. I don't need gold. And healing potions, the basic ones. I don't need that. But you can find random stuff like this just sitting here. Glass bottle. I'll take it. And these will respawn every time I leave. So if you need glass bottles, just come back here. Come get it. Need spider silk. Come out here, respawn, grab that stuff. But what I want to show you is these things. These are vending machines where you can get costumes. There's 2 sets of these in this entire dungeon, one here and one on the left side. And there's also a lot of free food. Now, it's not like the best food in the game, but at this point in time in the game when you're playing, the spicy noodle soup is actually pretty decent. The spider, bow combat's not much difference. I believe once you get to a certain point, like the arrows start penetrating, so you don't have to. You can hit multiple enemies at once. What's also a nice thing about this one is this dungeon is you can also farm potions, like the teleport potions, crystal heart, and agility. You just come back and there's always these here, and then there's one more here, and that's it for this area. So so if you're just looking for a specific costume, or if you want to get a specific costume for a friend, you just come here, hit those, and then you go to the left side of the dungeon. So I can get rid of, like, I don't need this gold bar. I do need the swimming goggles. I honestly don't need that. I don't need any of this. I'll keep. I don't really need the blue slime. I definitely don't need any more of these potions. I have this already. I have this already. I have this already. I have that. and I have that. So it's random what you get. I have the swimming, but I don't have the... I have the swimming bottom, but I don't have the swimming top, which is these goggles. You can see I got some tuna slices, and I got some spicy noodles. I honestly don't need these potions. I have so many. I honestly don't need this food either. So, just... because this is kind of... this would now be considered older food. And then there's these trees like this, which you can't destroy inside the dungeon, but you'll find these on the outside, which give you a different type of wood. So every area has like a different tree for wood. As you saw when I opened up the one tree wood chest. This is also the dungeon where you get the Gerplin hook. But then you can come here, and there's just chests everywhere, so you can get some of the purple gems, which is the crystal ore. There's the sapphire, emeralds, and rubies you can farm if you're looking for them. You can get these chests, which generally will have like string and cloth. Potions, if you need potions. These chests will usually have like rarer resources in them. More food if you want to farm food. And it's as simple as just teleporting away, teleporting back, or exiting the dungeon, coming back. Glacial shards, more potions. There are... when you first come through here, these guys are kind of difficult. But as soon as you start getting some of the more advanced gear, they even out. So there's a snowball, gold, just regular wood, drink the potions, and a lot of things is sometimes you'll be able to come in here and you'll be able to get free fish like the tuna and the octopus, so that you don't have to fish. I'm usually not a person who fishes in my games, so a lot of the times I'll just come in, and if I can find a place where I can get free fish, I'll come in and get free fish. So here's the next and only costumes in the dungeon. So we'll get that. If you wanted another bottle, here's another free bottle. Like I said, these all respawn, so it's not like you can only get them one time and you come back and they're not there. Now this is only like another part. You haven't even seen like the majority of the dungeon. This is literal just pieces of it. I already have this pirate hat. I already have the Gorgon. I believe I already have it, so I'm gonna keep it. I don't have the chicken costume. Again, come here. If you didn't have any chili seeds, there's the chili seeds. There's some vegetable oil from the olives, and there's some peppers. So you can get a good decent amount of stuff from just kind of exploring, looking around, especially over here. These carts. If you need chili seeds, there's chili seeds. Some more silver and gold. Some more slime, cloth, more slime and cloth. And then another part of this dungeon to get the grappling hook is you gotta do this, which requires 2 pieces of key. And then you put the pieces together, go get it. Fun little things. You really can't destroy stuff in dungeons. You can grab stuff, but you can't really destroy stuff. So no free statues, stuff like that. But I don't want to spend too much time in here. I don't want to give too much away. These reviews, especially on games like this, they get pretty in-depth and detailed because of the fact like there's just so much shit. And this is one of those games that, unfortunately, there's not a lot out there. There's just not a lot of information out there. Like I was like trying to figure something out, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do or where to find this item. And a lot of the times, if you just progress in the game, it's handed to you. But a lot of the stuff, I'm like, I don't know where this is, and I'm searching, and the next thing I know, I'm like, oh, if I just would have played the game, it would have given it to me. So, goggles. Running out of room, but it looks like, no, I don't have the fallen body costume. I definitely don't have the chicken costume, so put that there. I just realized this was a game made by a Japanese company because they got a lot of Japanese Nintendo things in it. References, I mean, not in it, but Nintendo references. So you can see on the minimap down here, it kind of tells you I died a couple times, got my stuff. Not sure how I removed the death marker. Because that's what that little skull on the minimap is. That's my death marker. Not sure how I get rid of it. I've tried clicking on it. I've tried pressing buttons. I've looked in the settings. Really doesn't tell me much. It's kind of like, deal with it. I'm like, oh, alright. Well, I guess I'll deal with it. The last but not least, the last area is the volcano. This was like the last area they added, and then they've kind of gone, I don't know, they've kind of disappeared. Here you can find like lava slimes, dragons, beholders, I mean launchers. They're beholders. There's the dragon. There's the watcher. Yeah, we all know what that is. Dragon. In the frost area, there's like snowmen, there's like snow foxes, there's blue slimes. Every area has like a goblin, and they all look different. It's just like a tundra goblin, whatever goblin. There's the obsidian, and then I believe this is also where meteorite. Get the meteorite. Completely missed. So I'm not doing really any damage. Get me a green scale, which I don't need. Little bushes, same thing. You destroy them. These guys give you these watcher eyes, which I grabbed. And usually when you grab, this is one of the ones when you grab it, an item goes into your inventory. There's the meteorite ore. There's also these little spots. This is where you'll find like the dragon fruit trees, and you'll find the lava plums. But you'll need a way to get across, either jumping, because you can't put down like the bridges and stuff. It's here. You see you can make different crafting stations, one of which being these wooden planks, which are basically your bridge. You can't put that on the lava. If you dig, or if you destroy these stones, you get a different kind of stone. You get basalt, whatever the hell you want to call it. And you can also find the lava worms, which you need the lava worms to get the lava fish. And you need the lava fishing rod, which you can either craft, or if you find like one of the goblin forts, because if you look there, you'll find like on the map, you'll find like the goblin forts, like points of interest. Like there's one right there. You can sometimes find them in a chest. So it gets you the lava fishing rod, which gets you the lava fish. Which, of course, the lava fish make the best food in the game. I'm trying to remember. Stove. The stove, basically all your recipes, shows you Warlock, Rogue Lobster, Demon Fisher. So you have like the Ashen Terror, that's a lava fish, the Lava Lobster, and then the Black Eel. These are all things you find in the lava. So yeah, every area has a couple different fish, like the barbell trout in the forest. You can turn the coconuts into coconut milk, which then turns into other recipes. The frost area has like the octopus and the red devil, and the tuna, the Goliath perch. Got the salmon. Of course, you can make things like pumpkin pie, carrot cake, different stuff like that. And I haven't done really any fishing, except for in the one quest where the guy basically teaches you how to fish. But most of my stuff I've found. There's the basalt, bloodstone, which you get from the one dungeon. There's a mine where you get the whetstones from mining gems. Dragon scales, the costumes, the sugar oil, the different kinds of wood, plant fiber. These are just different building materials that I've had left over or I've collected. I found, like, you can find like chests, and I'm like, these look really cool. but they don't do as much as the wooden crate stacks. As you can see, there's that. I don't remember. I think this is like 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, and I think these are the same. Yeah. So I could, this I had to find, or I think I can craft it. Yeah, I can craft it. So you can craft it. The only thing I haven't seen is if I don't, you have to have the items in your inventory to craft. There's no pull from chest, which unless there's a specific chest that does it, these wooden crates don't. And there's no real like tool tips. Like this just says magic chest. Who needs a wagon when you have a magic chest? It's expensive. These ancient fragments only come from the dungeon, and you only get like 8 or 9 a run. Sometimes you can get lucky and get more. If you kill the boss over and over again, you can get 3 or 4 per kill on average. All the different potions. Also, that's another thing. You'll eventually unlock these random little things like this. You craft it, and it says place it inside a farmer's house to increase the amount of crops the farmer will harvest. So place it inside the farmer's house. I haven't seen the farmer do anything or harvest anything. I put a chest in there. I walked away. I left the door open. The farmer didn't really touch any of my crops. Didn't really do anything. So I'm kind of like, I don't know what this is for. But what it did do is when I put it down, it increased the farmer's hearts. So if you look at any of these guys, you see these hearts up here, and the more of these hearts that are full, the more they can craft, and the cheaper this will get. So, because I have the 2 hearts now, I got like the second heart, I can do like the dragon fossil trophy, and I can do these. And it's the same thing with all these people. If you put different things they like in their house, you get more hearts. Like I have 3 hearts with the blacksmith. The blacksmith lets me, craft like the whetstone shelf, which stores a selection of many different whetstones to treat various. So just kind of like can be used to upgrade the house. Can be used to do this. But now, if I wanted to, I could make this ice sword at a reduced value. If I wanted to, I could make this bloodsteel greatsword. Make this sword mural window. I can make this sparring dummy, spiked minecart, which, what's a spiked minecart? Why do I want a spiked minecart over it? Doesn't really tell me. I kind of just have to like craft it and figure it out myself. As you can see, it's right there. Same thing with this guy. He just kind of makes bows cheaper. And you can see he has 4 hearts. Oh, there's also a boomerang, but not much you can do about the boomerang. He also, because I have this guy, I think he's a dryad. Because I have this dude at, I think it's like 4 hearts, I can make like the firefly shelter, which just, glows at night. Or the frog lily pad. Or the fairy swirl. The frog lily pad just causes, like, out in the water you can get basically a decoration of a frog. And then the fairy swirl, which will just put like lights in the water. So if you want to make like a lake in the middle of your area, and then you want to actually put something decorative, get some frogs during the day and, some fairy lights at the night. I thought about doing something like that, as I have this massively untouched open water area. I could make like a little like fairy shrine with the firefly tree, but I'm not a designer. I'm not a builder. I'm not someone who does that stuff. I go get the materials. I let my friends handle the building. I tame the creatures. I breed the creatures. I fight. I tank. That's my playstyle. And if I'm forced to build, like this game forces you to build, I had to build this all by myself. You get this hodgepodge mess of just all this extra space. Maybe not really much space there. There's also mannequins. I said before I end this. There's also mannequins where you can put your armor on, but there's no dismantling. So basically, I got my next upgrade. What am I going to do with my armor? Right into the trash. Otherwise, you're putting it in a storage crate. And as you can see, this is probably some of the best storage in the game. It's only 18 items. I just counted 36, 9, 12, 15, 18. Yeah, 18 items. And this is like the best storage I've seen. And it sucks to go through them because they click. You see the forge makes all your stone stuff, makes all your ingots. You get some pretty interesting looking tiles for your floor. And I kind of like the path here. I just used cobblestone path tile. But that's Tinkertown. That's the gist of it. I mean, there's not a lot to this game. It was just a fun, like, you find all these all these people, you just find them out and about, and it's procedurally generated, so that means if I say were to start a new world, nothing here will be in the same place. It'll be just, you know, everywhere. Like, that'll be there, this time, you know. There's only a handful of things that are, like, necessary, like, dead necessary. Like, that will be next to each other. Like, the Frost Dungeon will be right next to this lake where you get these shards. And that's the only one that's going to be, like, dead necessary, and they will be next to each other. Bestiary shows you all the different creatures in each biome. And as you can see, if Forest, I don't know who that is. I don't think I've found that point of interest where this spawns. Like, I barely found this one. Shows you, like, the Iron Miner. So if you go there, you can get the Iron Miner pickaxe, which is just an upgrade. There's the Goblin, different Cave Goblin. Yeah, Desert Goblin, Sandworm, which I was talking about. There's scarabs inside the dungeon. There's the other Skeleton Miner. Guardian of Might. There's these other creatures for a quest. There's the dungeon, shows you all the Egyptian stuff. Tundra Dungeon. The volcano. All those different volcanoes, they're all linked, so it's all kind of the same. The dragons. There's Lava Bat. The Meteorite Miner, that's what I was killing to get the pick. So they're not goblins in the lava area, they're kobolds. And then, of course, the lava dungeon just shows you, like, the dragons you fight. Doesn't really show you the bosses. I'm kind of curious now. Looks like it's got a witch hat, so I'm kind of curious as to what that is. Once you kill them, gives you kind of a couple stats, tells you where they're located, where you can find them, and at what time. I have a feeling this is like a nighttime, because there's some enemies that'll only spawn at night. And then it tells you what they drop. That's another cool thing. Drops a green shield. Let's see. Withered pickaxe. So this one's technically better than the iron pickaxe. Items. It shows you everything you have crafted and can craft. I've only really crafted the items I need. There's an achievement to craft all items. Don't really care. Townians. This is items they can craft for their house. There's some that I haven't crafted yet. I literally just kind of have to go back and look at each single one and be like, okay, I haven't crafted that. Dungeon items. I'm missing a dungeon item? Interesting. Weapons. You know, you can see the weapons I actually care about. Resources. Fish. Not really into fish. Diagrams. Shows you, like, all the diagrams that I'm missing. I haven't gotten. There's apparently a seed I haven't gotten. It's probably for, like, the lava grass. Potions, items, consumables, building materials, decorations, pickaxes. See, there's a couple I haven't gotten or I haven't crafted. I'm not even sure what that is. Decoration. What is that? Navigation and travel. costumes. So here shows you all the different costumes. So I am missing quite a bit of different costumes. And apparently there's weapon costumes that I was unaware about that I'm gonna have to go look at now, find out where I get those. Because there's also decorations like that. You saw the snowman. There's also like, I just found it randomly. And there's a lot of that stuff that's just out there that's like random. Like I found this random snowman, so I knocked it and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I can take it with me. So apparently there's more. There's other things like this. That's kind of cool. Crafting stations. I have all the crafting stations and all the refined resources. Achievements. Craft all. Let's say craft all. I've gotten all the exploration. Slay every monster in Tinkertown. Apparently I'm missing 12 monsters? Interesting. Or I haven't completed the 12 bestiaries. Catch one of every fish. I'm not a fisher. Got all this. But that's it. So there is still some stuff to do, but I've beaten it. I'm not really interested in 100%ing this game. If you are, like I said, you can go through there, make sure everything's filled in. And I'm going to end that here because I've gone over my time for this review. So until, and this is also a multiplayer game, so if you're interested in playing with your friends, this is a good couple days if you want to play with your friends and do shit. It's a pretty decent game, a little fun. There's magic, there's like, you can see, you can craft staves, 2 different kinds. They do different things. You have swords, daggers, bows, there's like great swords, hammers, different things like that. But please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you've played this game. Let me know if you've tried it with your friends. I have not played this multiplayer. I've just kind of, like I said, played it, beat it, got done with everything, and had a blast. I like this style of game. I like these survival, kind of top-down, 16-bit kind of games. So please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you've played this. And, until next time, you be you, you stay you. And most importantly, adventure on.